All right, first I'd like to thank you all for joining today. I'm Joel Wilhelm, Director of Channel Sales for phoenixNAP. We're looking forward to working with each of you and to help you grow your monthly recurring revenue with Veeam Cloud Services. Many Veeam partners might be here for the first time today, so welcome. We went to great efforts working with Veeam to ensure that we could get an inclusive audience here from the large ecosystem of Veeam resellers and partners. And I'd like to personally thank Julie Zhang with Veeam for helping to make that possible. I'd like to introduce my co-presenter, Michael Deemer with Veeam. Mike, would you please introduce yourself?
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Deemer. I'm the cloud architect here for Veeam Software. Good morning, everyone.
All right, thanks. Yep, thank you, Mike. So our presentation today, how to create MRR with Veeam Cloud Services. Hopefully you'll have some solid takeaways from our short presentation today. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that we do have 7 poll questions spread out during the presentation that are going to help us understand your business a little bit more. So if you would, please take the time to answer each of those quick survey questions. They're mostly yeses and nos. You'll need to answer all of them to win the $20 gift card today for attending. If you have any questions during the presentation, please go ahead and raise your hand or chat with us. Anna Maria is going to be monitoring that. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So first, we want to give you a little bit of background on who we are. And if you're not familiar with phoenixNAP or haven't worked with us in the past, we started as a co-location facility in Phoenix, Arizona, about 10 years ago. And we were providing co-location services in the Phoenix area. And we basically built a world-class tier 3 co-location facility. And then we launched into public cloud, private cloud, infrastructure as a services, and of course became a Veeam partner like yourselves, and began building cloud technologies around the Veeam technologies and VMware technologies. We've got a dedicated partner team. That's the team that works underneath me, regionally segmented across the United States. And we want to basically partner with you and help you tackle tough projects, help you go to market, and help you align yourselves with proven cloud service technologies from a best-in-class provider. Our partnerships are with industry leaders such as Veeam, and we won numerous awards that help us co-develop products and work together, so that way we can go to market and make sure that we have more competitive solutions than everybody else in the space. You can see here on this slide that we also are a VMware vCloud verified hosting provider. And obviously when Veeam got started, they initially built their solution around hypervisor backup only. And of course, Veeam has greatly expanded their offering over the years, but that's still core to their business, and that's still core to what we do for you, is providing both backup and replication in the cloud for services centered around Veeam and VMware. Here's a quick look at our footprint. In yellow are our VMware powered cloud nodes and Veeam Cloud Connect service stacks. You'll see from the east in Ashburn, Virginia. The southeast region is covered by Atlanta, Georgia. Our west and southwest regions covered by Phoenix, Arizona, which is our flagship data center that's located in the southwest, where there's a very low risk for natural disasters. This is a great place to target. Any of these nodes in yellow are available to target for offsite backup, replication, O365, or disaster recovery nodes. So that way you can be geo-diverse and basically land customers' data as close or as far away as you would like to cover their needs and requirements. So what are the services that phoenixNAP offers that are centric to the Veeam ecosystem? We are a Veeam Cloud Service Provider Platinum level partner. We offer Veeam Cloud Connect backup and replication, disaster recovery as a service, managed backups for Office 365, and Data Security Cloud has integrated Veeam managed backups. So all these services are going to be discussed a little bit more thoroughly today. So we have a poll question here, and I'm going to go ahead and launch that. Let's see if I can do that right. Pull, here we go. So if everyone could answer that. There we go. And we're still getting a bunch of answers. All right, looks like we're done. I'm going to go ahead and close this and share the results. So it looks like 71% of our audience today are silver level, 13% of the audience today is gold, and 17% of our audience is platinum level. So that's good information. Thank you for sharing. Let's move on to the next slide. Poll question number 2. Let's go ahead and get. All right, poll question number 2. How many Veeam customers do you have? We suspect most are going to be in the up to 50 and 50 to 100. You know, clearly a pretty large organization could have thousands, which is much more rare. And I'm going to go ahead and close. We got 62% who have voted. I'm going to give it a few more seconds. There we go. Close. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and share the results. It's about 90% of the audience today, less than 50. I'm going to go ahead and get that. And I think our next question here is, do you partner with any cloud service providers today? So let me go ahead and put that out there. We suspect by now, this isn't exactly a new program, that the majority of the audience is going to have a partner today, or even potentially provide some of these services in-house. So we'll see what the responses say. We've got, looks like we've got everyone, just 5 more seconds. Go ahead and get your answer in. %83% of the audience today has a cloud service provider. So that's good news. You're on the right track. And let's go on through the presentation here. So I'm going to turn it over to Michael. He's going to tell us a little bit about how Cloud Connect works. Michael.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Joel. Again, everybody, my name is Michael Deemer. I am the cloud architect here for Veeam Software, and I'm going to go into how Cloud Connect works, kind of give you the more technical deep dive on this. So I'm kind of going to be the more of the resident nerd here on the line, but we're going to kind of go through this very high level. So what you're going to see here on the right side of the screen is some of the architecture, right? So let's just kind of look at that just for a second. So we have an on-client, on-premise infrastructure that's actually going to be replicating it to a service provider infrastructure. So that's actually going to be like, you're going to be replicating your virtual machines or your physical machines, so kind of like P to V, over to like a service provider industry like phoenixNAP. So you could actually use them as a location to target to actually spin up that. Now, let's kind of talk about some of the quick stuff that we can do. There's no VPN connection. So we don't actually need to have site-to-site VPNs. We actually use a TLS tunnel to actually move the data securely. Now, we can also, we're really wizard driven. So I like to say we have a next finish type of a feel. And when we say we're wizard driven, we're really wizard driven for actually getting this data back. And then really the next biggest thing is integrations with software. So we have a lot of different API calls, a lot of different stuff that we can actually tie into. And then obviously the VBS administration or console. So that's actually going to be more for the phoenixNAP side of the world, but it's something that we can easily tie into and get that up rocking and rolling. But this is going to be kind of a very high level overview. Now, how do we actually add in? So how do we add in a service provider? So how would we add in like phoenixNAP if you were to target it? So you're going to actually come here and you'll actually come here to backup infrastructure. Then you'll hit service providers and then add service provider. It's very, very simple. And then the next step actually is just going to be actually giving the DNS name or the IP address. So that's actually kind of giving that kind of connectivity. And then the next little part there that is actually not on this screenshot, but is very critical, is the credentials. So actually just getting connectivity. Once you do that, all good to go. Now, one thing I do want to note here, and it is actually very mission critical for especially the client side. And I should have yelled it here down here, but it says allow this Veeam Backup and Replication installation to be installed by the service provider. So basically, without that little checkbox, your data will be going over the wire to, let's say, phoenixNAP, right? However, they're not actually able to manage it. So if that box is not checked, they're not actually able to start and stop jobs, do any kind of configurational help, or really kind of do anything inside of your environment. So it's kind of like a, do you want them to see? Do you not want them to see? So very mission critical. I always say allow that box so that way the target side can actually see what's going on, making sure that you have no failed jobs and so on. So that's going to be really the main part there. Now, this is a little bit more of a overview and diagram. So let's kind of go over this from the very middle. So the very middle here is actually going to be Cloud Connect. So again, we have no site-to-site VPNs. This is really done through TLS. So we're just going to be targeting a TLS gateway, and that's how we're going to be off-siting. Whether you be on-premise, so if you're on-prem, you have Veeam Backup and Replication, you have some virtual machines that you need to send over the wire. You have some Linux, or you have some Windows servers that you need to send over the wire. You can do that as well. Something else that's coming that I just want a little drop of a hint. We are also getting a Mac agent. So something that's going to be very crazy, especially for the MSP side of the house. Getting that Mac agent, so to protect those Mac OS workloads, that's going to be coming, and that's going to be crazy. But whether or not you're on premise or you're actually off premise, so so you're doing infrastructure as a service, so more of the down and left there. So maybe you have some virtual machines as infrastructure as a service, or Windows, or a actual Linux box. You can target really however you want to do this. Obviously, with infrastructure as a service, especially if you're already with phoenixNAP, they can already start backing those up with native Veeam Backup and Replication because it's already in their data center. But even if you're on premise, all you're doing is going to be targeting that phoenixNAP side using that TLS tunnel. Basically, you hit that TLS tunnel, goes to the cloud gateway, and then lands on the corresponding repository as it is. And then last but not least, you definitely could land another like DIY or another cloud provider. So anywhere in that, you definitely could do this. But really, the biggest takeaway here is we don't really have to have any type of VPN connection, and it's all done via TLS. And it doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum of, if you're sitting on-prem or you're sitting in IaaS, you have a colo or a data center, we can really make that work for the transition to get that site or get that data off-site for you. So if you could, thank you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the worst case, right? So worst case comes to worst, ransomware, malware, some type of very extruding toolkit. So something that's really coming after your data. So what's really good here, and Joel, this one might be one of those that's actually a build out. If you could, let's see, maybe not. If not a big deal. All right, so let's actually kind of go through this from a very high level. What if ransomware hits? How do we do it? And where are we protected from? So let's do very bottom here. You're going to see the actual interval for when we're actually backing up. So we took a nightly backup, and we're taking snapshots every hour. That is actually very key. And if you actually go to the left here a little bit, under the actual server there, the host, you're going to see that there's an HP, Nimble, and NetApp and Dell EMC storage arrays. Now, with those being said, if we could go back just a little bit, Joel, that would be perfect. But with those storage arrays, we're actually able to really get those really granular level types of modern snapshot technology, right? So really making sure that we're backing up on a really good interval, because if something does happen, you have a couple different options. One, let's actually go up here. And if you see here on the very right, we can actually restore into an on-demand sandbox. Now, you may be saying, hey, what is an on-demand sandbox? So basically what this is it's a one-to-one replica of your environment, your corporate network or your production network that we can build right there from the backup files themselves. Now, the biggest thing with this on-demand sandbox, you're going to be able to scan for malware, which is huge. You're also going to be able to go back there and actually start to revert back to see when maybe the malware or that toolkit got in, right? The biggest thing with ransomware or any type of really big toolkit is they really try to stay around as long as they can to try to beat your backup windows. Well, that doesn't really work when you take snapshots a lot or you have a really long retention policy. So something to kind of think about. Very high level here, how we should really use the 3-2-1 rule to really master. And we can actually go to the next slide here. And this one's going to actually show you a little bit more about the recovery from storage snapshots. So there's going to be if we could actually, there we go, perfect. So this one is actually going to show you how, if you just did a regular backup, so if you did a backup every night at 8 p.m., right? Say if you had a toolkit that came in at 9 o'clock, so from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, your whole data chain, right, is gone. You're not going to be able to get that back. But since you have snapshots, you could go back to 9 o'clock and you know that toolkit was interfered or was actually detected by your AV at 9. So you know anything past then is bad. So that way you can revert back to that particular backup and be good to go. Unlike if you just did a regular backup, sure, you would only lose an hour, but if that's really, really mission critical data, that's really huge. I mean, it's very granular data that we really need to protect. Now, also something else to kind of mention here, our Explorers. So we have Explorers for Exchange, Explorers for Active Directory, for SQL servers, SharePoint, and Oracle. And what we call Explorers are basically how we enable file level or granular level access to these VMDKs or those deltas. So that's how we're actually going to be able to go back, restore that data, those deltas and all that data chains to wherever we need to. And that's all done via Explorer or wizard driven, as you can tell. Perfect. Let's go to the next one if there is. All right. So time to restore. So this kind of goes hand in hand with what I was just talking about. Joel, if you could go out a little bit more, it has actually a build out on it. Perfect. So let's actually go through this just a little bit, right? So on the left-hand side, you're going to have your actual host. You got your hypervisor over. What doesn't really matter if that hypervisor is running Nutanix, Hyper-V, or VMware. We're going to support them all. And then we have some virtual machines on top. Now, those looks like there's going to be a database, there's going to be some application files and data. So now there's a couple different ways to do this. So you can restore it granularly, again, with an Explorer, so actually going out and pushing it there. You can even do a VM recovery. So let's just say you just needed to remount a virtual machine or even a C drive or D drive inside of that virtual machine. You could do that. You could also restore it to another backup target, or you could even restore it back to Cloud Connect. So having that secondary piece to go off to. So having somewhere to move that data. All right, perfect. Well, I'm going to pass this back over to our platinum partner here, Joel, and he'll be able to help us go through the rest of it.
All right, so you got some nuts and bolts. Thank you, Michael. On Veeam, and obviously we're, Michael was mostly talking about features and functionality available to you running Veeam Backup Software on the customer's environment, right? phoenixNAP is there for just a handful of those components for the Cloud Connect side of things. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the Cloud Connect side of things. For cloud backup and disaster recovery, it's a very simple setup for the hosted repository. So we're going to configure the backup repo or the failover hardware plan for the Veeam Cloud Connect services that you're subscribing to or that you're referring from a customer. It's a multi-tenant architecture, so we do not have to go out and buy dedicated hosts and Veeam backup servers per tenant. It's a shared tenant infrastructure, and we're able to carve that up, separate it, secure it, and make sure that their data is treated separately from everybody else's data. It's end-to-end encryption, using the Veeam built-in Cloud Connect TSL, also supporting the feature functionality. Backup copy jobs can be encrypted at rest if you check that box, and certainly certain industries, finance and healthcare and things like that may require you to make sure that box is checked so the data is encrypted at rest with a key that you own. All that functionality is supported with our integration with VMware. And the VMware vCloud Director, which is the shared tenant orchestration layer, is now supported by Veeam. So since Veeam has launched their latest version of Veeam Backup Software, we can now use vCloud Director versus vCenter, which gives us a lot more flexibility to bring over customer environments from vSphere into the shared tenant infrastructure, saving them money for their disaster recovery solutions. As a result of that change, we've been able to lower the price point on disaster recovery using Veeam Replication. And our new price point is $15 per VM and $90 per terabyte of storage for a ready-to-run cloud replication solution tied into Veeam. So it's a very cost-effective way for small businesses, large businesses to protect VMware workloads if they have Veeam backup software installed. And of course, integration, right? And we know there's a lot of tools there, so I won't get into too many details. Lots of benefits, right? Multi-tenant and dedicated platform. Sure, we can do both. Most customers are going to choose multi-tenant because, offsite backup and disaster recovery are oftentimes expensive insurance policies, right? They don't want the bad things to happen, but if they do, they want to make sure they've got it covered. Lots of compliance options. Again, dedicated platforms can be tuned for more compliance in certain areas and access controls that you can't get in multi-tenant environments. High performance. phoenixNAP is an infrastructure as a service company, and we run Intel Supermicro Nimble Storage. Veeam Cloud Backup lands on Nimble Storage. We're actually using SAN here. We do not use JBOD. We have not cobbled together storage. So you're going to get a high performance solution with a high performance network, all tied in together and integrated using standard features and functionality that you would expect. The good news there is you don't have to build it. As a service provider, it can be very costly to build out infrastructure. We know that. That's the business we're in. We extend a lot of capital to build infrastructure so that way other companies can leverage it as an OpEx without those deep investments. It is predictable. We don't have any hidden fees. We're not charging you per gig for transfer of data in and out. Our services, our Veeam Cloud Backup services include all of the bandwidth that you need. The licensing, the Veeam licensing required on our side, the gateway, and everything else. So you get a cost per terabyte per month. Currently, with the price structure of our Veeam Cloud Backup, it's right on the level of public cloud object storage. We're talking nearline, not Glacier, but anywhere between 1 and 2 cents per gigabyte, depending on term and volume. You can get a very cost-effective offsite cloud backup solution for your customers, either by referring or reselling these solutions. So overall, much lower total cost of ownership. If you consider the maintenance and the infrastructure and the bandwidth and everything required to put something together versus just use features that are built into the software today to get your data or replicas offsite, you're going to have a lower TCO if you consider all of the variables. Plus, we're globally available. We've got 5 locations, 3 in the US, 1 in Asia Pac, 1 in Europe, where you can back up data, replicate data, and do everything that you need to do 24/7. We do not run lights out data centers. We're always there. We're always staffed. We have a NOC, we have a SOC, we have everybody sitting around waiting to take any type of call from you, expand services as needed, power on disaster recovery solutions at any point in time. Now we got another poll question here. Hey, it's a great question. Would you like to trial Veeam Cloud Services? And basically, we offer a free trial for Veeam Cloud Backup for up to 30 days. And if you're interested in testing this out for yourselves or for a customer, we're more than happy to extend a free trial to you. We'll get you a URL and passcode, and you can go through the simple setup through the wizard and basically test this out. All right, we're about halfway through the voting. It looks like we're about 50-50. 50% have voted. Let's wait till that number gets up into the 70s. So it's a free trial. Like, there's no obligation. Obviously, we want to be your partner. We want to work with you. We want to build trust. So if you would like to get a free trial from us, then we're going to go ahead and extend that out to you after this call. Okay, we got 50%, 56% have voted, and I'm going to give it just a couple more seconds. Okay, we're growing again. All right, and we're going to go ahead and close that. So it looks like about 50% would like to try it. So we're going to go ahead and extend that offer to you. All right, next. Office 365. We felt it would be good to make sure that we talked a little bit about another service that we offer that's powered by Veeam that is sold in the same manner. It's OpEx. It helps you create MRR. If you're helping customers choose or migrate to Office 365, there's a whole number of reasons we're going to cover on the next slide why you might want to consider backing that up. And we've got a turnkey solution that is a fully managed solution by us that will help you do that. We provide full support. There's additional monthly reoccurring revenue in it for you, whether that be refer or resell. Michael, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you to talk about some of these reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Joel. So let's actually kind of talk a little bit about what Office 365 does it do before we even get into the reasons why we need to back it up. So let's be very high level here. Office 365 is one of your most crucial databases. Why? Because you guys are sending emails every day, right? Most of your conversations, high-level conversations, are usually done through email. Now, let's just kind of take a little bit of a step back. Even on Microsoft's website, it will say, hey, it's your guys' data. We're just here to basically be infrastructure as a service. So making sure that your email is able to log into, making sure that necessarily your emails might not be there, but the data set or the actual, your last 30 days will be there, because they always keep a retention period of 30 days. But let's just say you delete something like accidental deletion and you forget about it and it goes past the time period and you don't have a backup. Well, guess what? It's gone, and it's gone forever. Now, sure, you could run a query, have a quiescent database, and have it come back out of their particular database. Now, that is only if they can actually find it, and that's sometimes a little harder than it may seem. So the retention policy can get a little tricky. Now, that kind of goes into our next one. So retention policy and confusion gaps. The biggest thing here is Office 365 only really protects you for the first 30 days. There's no long-term archival. There's nothing like that. It's your first 30 days, and it's always the first rolling 30 days that you have. Internal security leaks. So let's just say something malicious happens. You have malicious insiders, or somebody's actually going into like certain departments and deleting maybe SharePoint or maybe OneDrive for business stuff. This all goes into Office 365 on the grand scale, because all that data is actually being backed up with Veeam anyway. So let's just say you had a malicious insider that went and destroyed a whole bunch of your SharePoint sites. Well, that's what you guys use for maybe contractors or just to share inside personal information, right? So now all that's gone. And that's a pain, right? External security threats. So that we kind of went into this a little bit today, kind of like toolkits and ransomware. Basically, they're kind of waiting there and making sure that they get past that 30-day retention period to really make sure that they hit it hard and drive it home. Legal compliance and requirements. So let's just say you need to keep your data for 7, 10, 15, 25 years. That's an option with Veeam. Even if you want to keep it for longer than 25 years, let's just say I want to keep my data chain forever. As long as you have repository space, Veeam will allow that. We really don't care how long you want to keep it for. We're going to make sure that you can get that data down the road as well. And one of the biggest reasons why Veeam, right? Why backing up with Veeam, and especially O365, managing hybrid deployments and migration. I went through a fair share of migrations in my time, and let me tell you, Veeam could have really helped me really make the transition a lot faster, a lot more efficient, and altogether a lot less headache. And from an admin perspective, we need that. So it's just something to kind of keep in mind. And these are some of the very light 6 reasons why you should look into Office and Veeam for backup. Joel?
Thank you. And we've got one more question that's pretty simple. Do you sell or support Microsoft Office 365 today? And it looks like a large number of responses are yes. So that's a good thing. And hopefully you have options for backing up O365. Obviously, if you're a Veeam partner today, you have access to the same tools. We have a turnkey solution designed where you can just sell it or resell it. It may not be of value to you if you're a managed service provider and you want to perform those services for your customers, but these are easy add-on sales to any really VAR or system integrator that is selling O365 and doesn't want to manage the solution. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a few more seconds here before we close the poll. All right. And there's the results, about 73%. Okay. Compliance and security, challenge accepted, right? So we're very proud of a new solution that we brought to market. And it's not exactly new. We've had it to the market at the end of 2019. And Data Security Cloud is quickly becoming the #1 cloud service that phoenixNAP offers. And of course, we offer other flavors of virtual private cloud, fully dedicated cloud stacks. But Data Security Cloud is something special. We designed it from the ground up, ultimately for security and for compliance. It was designed out of the gates to be PCI compliant and ready. It's designed out of the gates to deliver HIPAA compliance ready infrastructure for hosting with security access controls, with the hardening of the infrastructure, with the SOC monitoring and managing it. And we offer it in a couple of different flavors. I wanted to show you a quick high level overview and why this ties into the Veeam theme today. Our security cloud architecture, clearly a VMware based powered cloud, but it includes, it's not even optional, it includes managed backups, both the essentials package and the advanced package. And the reason why is because there is a lot of heavy lifting, sometimes inside of clouds, to get the appropriate type of backups integrated, to get them working properly, to ensure that they're being done correctly. And so from the ground up, we designed Veeam as the primary backup solution for this cloud. That gives us a lot of options. Clearly, being an infrastructure provider, we can get those backups to other data centers. We can replicate to other data centers for disaster recovery. It just makes everything so much easier. We can also use Veeam to import customers' virtual machines into this environment to help with migration. So we have a lot of tools and a lot of integration built around our Data Security Cloud platform and Veeam. And of course, other security elements for cybersecurity, management, detection, and response. So if you have any questions on Data Security Cloud, if this might be a good fit for your customers, obviously we're here to help. The next question here is, do you provide infrastructure as a service or cloud hosting services? All right, we'll just another 10 seconds here. Looks like most have voted. Okay, excellent. So it's about 50-50, 45 and yes, and 55% no. All right.
All right, so this boils down to, being the disruptor or being disrupted. So a lot of, Veeam Cloud service providers, there's a lot of cloud service providers that you can leverage to help you create new MRR. And the question is, again, are you going to be a disruptor or are you going to be disrupted? There's a huge shift going on in the technology space. Even the smallest companies are adopting cloud services, and the rates just continue to increase year over year. This year we saw a lot of growth, especially in the SMB market, due to COVID, needing to work remotely, needing to get access to their apps and data from anywhere, needing to work from home and still secure without adding in a lot of expensive, firewalls and routers and special networks. So the shift to cloud, the shift to software as a service and infrastructure as a service became paramount for a lot of SMBs, and also protecting that data, because they're still concerned about business continuity and protecting that mission critical data for their remote workforces. So as a service provider, we feel cloud can be your best friend too, right? You don't have to build everything. You don't have to manage everything. That comes at a cost, it comes at time, and it requires staff. You can deliver to your clients what they need quickly without capital outlays, and still make monthly reoccurring revenues, either in the form of commissions or in the form of margins on reselling services. And we want to help you by being your partner. You can deliver the ability to scale and flexibility that customers need, and you have the ability to pivot as needs change and not be locked in to decisions you might have made a year or two ago. So we're here to enable our partners through our partner program. We've got resources that'll help you grow your business, ask the right questions, and find more opportunities. So what's in it for you? We talked a little bit about that. Recurring monthly commissions, right? Building an MRR business is important. You've got predictable, calculatable cash flows. You're not reliant on somebody buying a bill of materials or doing that refresh. And while they might be considering going to cloud services, it helps you scale your business more efficiently. You don't have to build everything and run everything. You can rely on outsourced service providers that provide you with the right price points, the right kind of support to integrate into your core business. And of course, no matter what style of business you run, if you're a trusted advisor to the people that you're talking to your prospects and to your clients, you'll have a larger portfolio of services to pull from and be able to recommend, even if they aren't your core services. And you'll still be able to support the customer after the sale with monitoring, management, administration, and professional services and managed services. We've noticed a lot of resellers are missing some opportunities, and we wanted to just point those out. You want to create more MRR, make sure you're asking the right questions. Make sure as you sell Veeam software that you're asking customers what they're doing to get their data offsite, protect from malware, and to protect from disaster, right? The 3-2-1 rule, which has been around for years and something that we've all talked about, it's still there. It still makes sense. It's still a best practice. Upselling, customers don't just have to back up everything. That's best practice. They can also take a look at their environment and say, hey, here's the 5 servers, the 10 servers that we couldn't live without really for an extended period of time. Find out what that recovery time would need to be in order for them to be happy, right? So that way they don't go offline. And attach. When you're selling O365 services, and many of you do, make sure you're recommending to customers ways to back it up and to fill the gaps in between what Microsoft's protection plan looks like, which is basically archiving for 30 days in a recycle bin, right? Versus the tools and the technology you can bring for a very low cost, $2 per seat per month, in addition to what they're spending today, to properly protect that data for a much longer period of time, give them control of that data so they're not relying on Microsoft to restore it or find it. And it eliminates a lot of risks. And obviously be consultative, right? Ask questions. Question-based selling, I've subscribed to this for a very long time. You sit me down in front of a customer, or you sit me down in front of a partner. I want to learn about their business. What are their pain points, right? Is there something we can potentially help with? If you ask the right questions, you'll get to that. The next question here is very selfish. As the channel manager, we want to work with partners. We have built a partner portal that delivers collateral, battle cards, in the, email campaigns, for backup services, for disaster recovery, for finding cloud projects. And we want to know if you would like to get access to those. So I'm going to try and get this shared real quick. This is the last poll question. So if you say yes to this, what we're going to do is we're going to reach out. Typically, if you're not a partner, we can sign an NDA. So that way we can share information about businesses we work with. We can get a partner agreement in place. You can choose what model fits your business model best, refer or resell. We're going to talk about that on the next slide. And then we'll give you access to the partner portal once you become a partner. And it's very easy. It's a very simple process, quick conversation. And of course, you'll have access to all of the phoenixNAP services, co-location, dedicated servers, cloud, Veeam Cloud Backup, et cetera, et cetera. All right, I'm going to close the poll. Looks like about 42% would like access to that. So I'm glad you wanted to take advantage of that. This will help you build your business. And of course, we want to work with you to build go-to-market campaigns that make sense. So we have marketing resources that we can bring to you. We don't charge for them. We do free training and enablement, and we want to help you go find more prospects or find more business within your current customer base. And refer or resell. So a little thing about us as an infrastructure as a service provider, to us, referral actually best fits resellers, and resell best fits service providers. So that's something to think about. Most companies that sell boxes all day long, software, hardware, point solutions, they're not on an OpEx model. It's a one-time deal. They're not going to want to get entrenched into billing for services, being the first line of support, hiring more staff and getting certified so that way they can resell the services. So referral makes the most sense. They can basically bring a customer to us in a deal protected, account protected state. And if we close the business, they will earn evergreen commissions for the life of that customer, including add-ons and renewals. So whether it just be Veeam Cloud Backup initially, and then that customer comes asking for more services down the road or disaster recovery, we'll continue to work with you on that account and grow that business. For resellers and MSPs, reselling makes a lot of sense. You already bill monthly, you're already the point of contact or the IT contact for that or that customer that you're supporting. It just makes sense for you to control the relationship, the billing, and the customer support. And we provide you with all of the same support we would give to a customer. We're going to give you wholesale discounts on the services that don't include any referral fees, anything like that. So you're going to get meat on the bone, so you can mark those services up, put them on your paper, fully support that customer, and take it up the stack further than what phoenixNAP does. So that makes sense. And there's a lot of advantages either way, right? We're always going to be here to support you pre and post sale, either way. We've got sales engineering, solution architects, access to Veeam, VMware resources. So if there's any questions that come up during the sales process, we'll be able to answer them, help you scope them, help the customer, and you find the right solution that's going to be the best fit. And here is the channel team. We've got Eric Carlson in the Midwest, Peter Barr in the East region, Dean Mirza and in the West, and currently covering the Tola and Pacific Northwest region. I've got a couple of open roles. And if you have any questions for us, your regional channel manager is aligned in those states. If that's where you're located, you can find the correct channel manager to reach out to, or simply reach out to partner@phoenixnap.com. And for those of you that responded to the poll and you would like a free trial, you'd like access to our portal, we will be reaching out to you directly. So I want to thank you all for your time. If you have any questions, again, partner@phoenixnap.com. We'll be happy to answer any of those. Thank you for attending today. Have a great day.